Hello everybody and welcome back to the continuation of the Cell book reading. Yes, let's continue a little bit. It's been a while since I actually did a book reading. It's been almost 2 months actually, since March. So yeah. Anyway, here we go. You'll know that, Alice said. She was gnawing at her lower lip. It was way too early for you to think you knew all the rules. Of course she was right. But they couldn't stand around out here discussing it. That was no good either. I'll be careful, he said. I put a leg over the bottom of the window. It was narrow, but plenty wide enough for him to climb through. I'll just poke my head into his office if he's not there. I won't go hunting around for him like a chick in a horror movie. I'll just grab my portfolio and we'll boogie. Keep yelling, Alice said. Just say, okay, I'm okay. Something like that. The whole time. Alright, but if I stop yelling, just go. Don't come in after me. Don't worry, she said, unsmiling. I saw all those movies too. We got Cinemax. I'm okay, Clay shouted, picking up his portfolio and then putting it down on the reception desk. Good to go, he thought, but not quite yet. He looked over his shoulder as he went around the desk and saw the one unblocked window glimmering, seeming to float in a thickening gloom. The two silhouettes cut into into the day's last light. Well, I'm okay, still okay. Just going in to check his office now. Still okay, still. Oh, Clay? Tom's voice was alarmed. But for a moment, Clay couldn't respond and set Tom's mind at rest. There was an overhead light fixture in the middle of the inner office, high ceiling. Mr. Riccardi was hanging from it by what looked like a drape cord. There was a white bag pulled down over his head. Clay thought it was the kind of plastic bag the hotel gave you to put your dirty laundry and dry cleaning in. Clay, are you alright? Clay? Alice sounded shrill, ready to be hysterical. Okay, he heard himself say. His mouth seemed to be operating itself with no help from his brain. Still right here. He was thinking of how Mr. Riccardi had looked when he said, I shall stay at my post. The words have been lofty, but the eyes have been secret, had been scarred, and somehow humble. The eyes of a small raccoon driven into a corner of the garage by a large and angry dog. I'm coming out now. He backed away, as if Mr. Riccardi might slip his homemade drape cord noose and come after him the second he turned his back. He was suddenly more than afraid for Sharon and Johnny. He was homesick for them with a depth of feeling that made him think of his first day at school, his mother leaving him at the playground gate. The other parents had walked their kids inside, but his mother said, You just go in there, Clayton. It's the first room. You'll be fine. Boys should do this part alone. Before he did what she told him, he had watched her going away back up Cedar Street, her blue coat, now standing here in the dark. He was renewing acquaintances with the knowledge that the second part of homesick was sick for a reason. Tom and Alice were fine, but he wanted the people he loved. Once he was around the reception desk, he faced the street and crossed the lobby. He got close enough to the long broken window to see the frightened faces of his new friends. Then remembered he had forgotten his fucking portfolio again. I had to go back. Reaching for it, he felt certain that Mr. Riccardi's hand would steal out of the gathering darkness behind the desk and close over his. That didn't happen, but from overhead came another of those thumps. Something still up there, something still blundering around the dark, something that had been human until 3 o'clock this afternoon. This time when he was halfway to the door, the lobby's single battery-powered emergency light stuttered briefly. then went out. That's a fire code violation, Clay thought. I ought to report that. He handed out his portfolio. Tom took it. Where is he? Alice asked. Wasn't he here? Wasn't he there? Dead, Clay said. He had crossed his mind to lie, but he didn't think he was capable. He was too shocked by what he had seen. How did the man hang himself? He didn't see how it was even possible. Suicide? Alice began to cry, and it occurred to Clay that she didn't know that if it had been up to Mr. Riccardi, she'd probably be dead herself now. The thing was, he felt a little like crying himself because Mr. Riccardi had come around. Maybe most people did, if they got the chance. From west of them on the darkening street, back towards the common, came a scream that seemed too great to have issued from human lungs. It sounded to Clay almost like the thumping of an elephant. There was no pain in it, and joy. It was only madness. Alice cringed against him. He had put an arm around her. The feel of her body was like the feel of an electric wire with a strong current passing through it. If we're going to get out of here, let's do it, Tom said. If we don't run into too much trouble, we should be able to get as far north as Malden and spend the night at my place. That's a hell of a good idea, Clay said. Tom smiled cautiously. You really think so? I really do. Who knows? Maybe Officer Ashland's already there. Who's Officer Ashland? Alice asked. A policeman we met back by the common, Tom said. Hey, helped us out. 3 of them were now walking east towards Atlantic Avenue, through the falling ash and the sound of alarms. We won't see him, though. Clay just trying to be funny. Oh, she said. I'm glad somebody's trying to be. Lying on the pavement by a littler barrel was a blue cell phone with a cracked casing. Alice kicked it into the gutter without breaking in stride. Good one, Clay said. Alice shrugged. 5 years of soccer, she said. And at that moment the streetlights came on, like a promise that all was not yet lost. And this will be the end of the first chapter, I assume, the polls. So with this one, I'm also going to stop it here for this one. And thank you very much for listening. And I'll catch you in the next chapter, which will be called Malden. Thank you. Bye-bye.